Hi. Today we're going to be cleaning for a woman who is a single mother, widowed, works about 12 hours per day. And I totally get that whenever you work a shift that long all week, the last thing that you've got the energy for is messing with your house. So we're going to do this for free. We're going to go over and help her out. And the very first thing that I do whenever I get in this house is spray the oven down, the inside glass and the oven interior, with oven cleaner, because I want this to sit for as long as possible. And in fact, we let this one sit for about 2.5 hours just to make it easier to scrub down. Oh, hey, look, more dishes. My son Jason is with me today. He was with me on another video. And for those of you who are not aware, he is just an absolute human pile. And it just makes me sick even looking at him. He asked if he could come along and help me on this house, and I said, if you pay me $1,000, I'll let you clean with me. And he started crying, and I was just like, hey, dude, don't cry. You just fork up the cash, and then you do the dishes. And then he went ahead and did it because he knows better than to not to. But while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and clean up the floor and start going through to separate what's trash and what's not. Most of what's on this floor is trash, including Jason. But I'm just going to put all the trash in the trash bag, and then we're going to sweep this floor, I think, 4 times. I sweep it right off the bat in order to get the main crud off so that we don't have to walk on this and track it, through other rooms in the house. And then after we're done with the regular part of the cleaning, as in, countertops, dishes, and all that stuff, I will sweep it again because, 1, the first time I sweep it, I'm going to miss stuff. 2, as we're cleaning, more stuff is going to fall on the floor. And 3, sweeping lets me prove that I'm a man, because men sweep. That's what we do. And she's got this little, I don't know what you call those. I know there's a name for them. I'll call it rolly chef thing. She's got this little rolly chef thing that I can pull out of the way, and so I can sweep under it. So I move that out of the way, then I'm going to sweep the rest of the floor, then sweep where that was, and then roll it back into place. So suck it. Now that thing was about 1,700 pounds, and I moved it with ease. Now for Britain people, 1,700 pounds roughly translates into $600 million. I don't know what measurement you guys use, but I think that I always heard about the pound to dollars conversion table. So I'm going to assume you guys operate in dollars, but it was pretty heavy, but it was nothing for me to just whip that thing right back into place. I didn't grunt or anything. But once I got that out of the way and then flexed and posed for a little bit, I go ahead and jump to this little island here. Around this island is distressed paint, but it's also super, super cruddy. And you'll get to see that here in just a minute. But right now I'm just moving all the trash off and yeah, that happened. So anyway, I'm moving all the trash and stuff off of it. And then I'm going to clean that with Mr. Clean. And then I'm going to follow that up with a mixture that I've slightly modified from my past videos. I use 91% isopropyl alcohol. And then in a bottle, I mix that 70% with that alcohol, 30% with water and then about 3 or 4 drops of Dawn dish soap. And I used to mix that weaker, but I've a couple of nurses have gotten a hold of me and said that if I really wanted to disinfect, to just increase the potency, so I did. It doesn't, the smell's not overwhelming or anything, so it doesn't really bother me. So Jason's going to high speed it through these dishes, and in fact there weren't like a ton of dishes around, but there was enough to keep him busy for literally a couple hours. Now, when we're doing houses like this, we never like go crazy with speed. Like our goal isn't to get in there, bust it out, and get out. We kind of take our time and enjoy ourselves while we're doing this. So we take frequent breaks. We take our time. We don't go balls to the wall. I'm going to clean the roly cookie slidey thing with Mr. Clean, and then I'll follow that up, at least on the top, with the alcohol, Dawn, and water mixture. And that's not just to sanitize, but the alcohol makes things like metals, chrome, stainless steel, things like that. It makes it shine a little bit easier. Now, I didn't bother sweeping or mopping these steps. I'm just going to use Mr. Clean and just wipe these down just like they were tables. At first I thought, well, why are you doing this? You didn't... Anyway, Mr. Clean is all I use to get this door clean. And I just love showing this because, man, that's such a huge difference. And it hardly took any time at all. I only let that thing sit for maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And then it just wiped right off. To clean glass, I always use the same thing. It's that same exact alcohol, water, and Dawn mixture that I use for the metal. But the big thing that makes the difference here is I use an ultrafine microfiber cloth to dry it off with, and that's what gets rid of the streaks. Now, all these shelves were basically the same way. The shelves, the counters, the cabinet fronts, they had just a lot of dust and grime and regular everyday kitchen grease that is, it kind of turns into sort of a vapor and gets all over the kitchen. And just after so long, it builds up and you really need to scrub it down with like an emulsifier. I said emulsifier. I knew a big word. But I'm just going to use Mr. Clean. You don't have to use Mr. Clean. It's just what I have and it's what I like. You can use dish soap, would work fine on this. Anything that's like a soap-based cleaner would work to cut through all this. And then I follow that up with my alcohol mixture, and I even sprayed that on my hands just to sanitize my hands. Then I'm just going to wipe down everything that was originally on those shelves and put it back in a way that I find pleasing. Your shelves please me. There, you can really see how grimy those things got. And I just soaked the unholy crap out of them with Mr. Clean. And then I'm using like a soft scouring pad to get the main thick layer of dirt and grime off. And then I'll spray that down again and use just a rag to wipe up all the residue. Same thing with the dishwasher. I'm going to use Mr. Clean to get the main grime off, and then I'm going to go back over that with my alcohol mixture just to bring out the shine. All the little extra chunks of dirt that are thick, I get off of there with a scouring pad. Now, one thing I didn't show is whenever we first got here, I cleaned the sinks out with Barkeeper's Friend, which I've started using that. It's pretty decent. It's not terribly different from Comet, but it does seem to work pretty good. And the reason I'm not showing you that is because I completely and totally forgot to turn on my camera. Like the camera was facing the sink and I just forgot to hit the stupid record button. So suck it. Now on the top of this stove, I'm going to spray this down with oven cleaner. And a couple channels that I watch will cover that up with saran wrap, but I'm not really letting this sit on there that long. I let it set open faced for like 15 or 20 minutes while I did other things. And then I'm coming back over this with a razor blade scraper. And I just wipe that off with a regular microfiber towel. I would have done it with paper towel so I could throw it away, but we didn't have any with us. Then I follow that up with a scouring pad to get the thicker residue off. Then I'll switch to a microfiber cloth to finish it off, and then that's the biggest, thickest layer of dirt on top. Then I can just switch to regular cleaners to get it to shine. Now I could get this even cleaner. I could use the razor blade more. I could use Barkeeper's Friend and stuff like that, and I could really polish this thing to where it looked like new. But right now we don't have an incredible amount of time to work on this, so I just want to get this as clean as possible without doubling or tripling the amount of time we're going to spend on something like an oven. I want it to be clean and usable, but I don't have time to make this look like brand new. But we are going to be coming back to this house, so I mean, it's entirely possible I can open up that oven and then just go whole hog on that thing. There's a little side room that they use to store some of their toys, and the toys themselves really need wiped down. They're not dirty, they're just really dusty. I didn't spend any time doing that, but I did want to at least organize it a little bit, pick up some of the toys, sweep the floors, and then I use a mop on it a little bit later. I didn't do anything crazy in there, but I did want to straighten it up a little bit. The countertops, we're going to use Mr. Clean again. And then just like with all the other stuff, we're going to switch to the alcohol solution. And that is to make it shine and also to sanitize it a bit. The dining room was extremely easy to do. It wasn't really all that dirty. We just picked up the stuff that was on the dining room table. I'm going to clean that with Mr. Clean once. And it had a lot of sticky stuff because the kids have got, cereal and stuff like that on the table. So I cleaned it once and then I sprayed it down again with Mr. Clean really heavy. And then I'm just going to let that sit on top of there while I sweep out the rest of the room so that anything that's left over on that table has time to kind of soak and soften up a bit. Then I'll wipe that down and let it dry because here in just a bit I'm going to use liquid gold on that to make it shine. It's like a furniture polish, like a wood oil sort of thing. In the meantime, I want to take everything out of this little cubby hole sort of built-in cabinet. The house is about 100 years old and the shelving that's in here is original to the house for the most part. And I think this is one of the built-in shelves that they built with the house. I think it was built in like 1930 or something like that. So not quite 100 years old, but it's a neat little shelf. They had a bunch of stuff piled on there. No big deal. We just went ahead and took all the stuff off, wiped it down with Pledge, and then put all the stuff back. And then I could bounce to the table and use liquid gold on that. And that will stay shiny for, I don't know, about a week. I used a spin mop to do the floors, and let me tell you, my heartfelt review on the spin mop is it sucks a lot. Like enough to where I want to tell it to suck it, but it already does suck it. So don't ever buy one of those. They really suck a big one. Here's some of the before and afters. We will be back at this house next week, so don't be a devil worshiper. Come back next week to see that. And while you're here, subscribe. Otherwise, I will straight up give you a stone cold stunner. Later.